Westeros!
And welcome to our Morning Throners podcast.
I'm Nelson.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Kyle.
And we are your Morning Throners. And welcome back to another episode of your favorite Song of Ice and Fire podcast. We are your Morning Throners, and we got John 1 on deck. Gentlemen, how we doing?
You know, I never thought about it. Is that the royal you in our opening there? Where he says your favorite song of Ice and Fire?
Favorite song.
Everybody's favorite. No choice. You have no choice in the matter.
It's both. When he's saying it now, it's the royal you, and when they're listening, it's the singular
Okay,
you.
okay. Awesome. That's Schrodinger's you. I love it. All right. Great.
What'd you think,
how we
Kyle?
doing? I'm doing pretty good. Like, it's fun to get back to John, right? Like, I mean, we kind of left at a pretty major event at the wall there.
Yeah.
And then didn't hear from, which again, I'm going to say this, I'm sure a lot, but fuck, man, I forgot the timeline for a little bit at the beginning.
We're
there.
back,
I'm like,
baby.
well, it's like, why is he running into Sam and shit? Like, I'm like, what is happening here? And Aemon, and I don't know. I was so confused.
Yes, I was going to say, not Sam. We have people back from the dead in this chapter.
Well, yeah, and like, yeah, exactly.
Time
So that
traveling
was like, I'm like,
Kyle.
I mean, once he ran into, I think he runs into Sam pretty quick in the stairwell or something.
It's about halfway, but yeah.
Okay, but anyway, yeah, so that part was a little jarring at first, yeah, but good. Ended strange, but yeah.
Is it good because we're back to John, or do you actually like the content of the chapter?
Well, yeah, I guess that's fair. The chapter itself was another kind of recap. There was a fun Stannis part at the end, though, I think, right?
I enjoy
And
Stannis.
Melisandre.
I enjoy his banter.
Yeah. In general, I like Stannis.
Yeah, and I did like to kind of have her debrief at the end as well. We'll get there, obviously, but kind of helps put into context some Stannis stuff, some of the things he said, or some of the things that happened.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see the reread that we do right now, essentially, and how that kind of plays into that.
Nels, do you love the chapter?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good. Definitely one of the better ones that I think we've had so far.
Best one we've
in the book.
had. Well, maybe not the.
I like the
what was
prologue in this
opening
book.
again. Yeah.
Chapter 1.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like if we just jump right into the beginning, that's the part we kind of didn't mention yet. Is it starts with this cool like war dream, which kind of doesn't super relate to the first chapter, but that was all about like warging, right? And here we have John and Ghost, and John. Not only is he in it, but after the dream, he thinks about it a little bit. He seems to be more aware that there's something going on,
Lingering in those thoughts.
Well, yeah, he definitely acknowledges that they're strange, right? They feel
and I
real.
guess that makes sense because right in Storm of Swords, he's hanging out with wildlings and stuff, and they're just like, "You're a warg, bro." So now,
Yeah, he had somebody kind of tell him. Yeah.
Just tell him so.
You're a wizard, Harry. Oh, now it makes sense. Like now,
now that makes sense why that glass disappeared and the snake. I could talk to that.
I
snake.
know we'll get into it
Yeah.
more. It's interesting that, as you mentioned the prologue and those warg events and how that guy could kind of, he had a warg connection with all his animals and he could kind of feel them. All right. But now we have John who doesn't warg into anything but Ghost, but can sense there's like a family connection too, which is like he's seeing them, right? Like it's not like he just like feels them. Like he
knows what's going on around him at least.
You can see what's going on with them, which is pretty wild. So just understanding that connection even more, because, I mean, it's been a long time since I read this. This is almost like a first read for me. I know it's not, because I know it's kind of happening, but the details.
So hang on, I have a prediction that I know Nelson's going to like to hear. So I think at some point, like him and Bran are going to have like a warg conversation, right? Like that's you don't have to agree with that or whatever, but
okay, yeah, go ahead. Finish your thing.
I was just gonna say, like, I think that's probably gonna be how he finds out that news of Bran's existence. That feels a natural kind of way for that to.
Once we get a few paragraphs in, I wonder if you rethink that. But I was gonna say, have we seen this before? Like when Bran was warging, has he been aware of
He showed up at John's, didn't he?
Well, he actually physically showed up. I just mean of like the thing that Jeff was talking about, where they can like sense each other. Like, have we seen like when Arya is in Nymeria that she thinks like, oh, I can tell my other brother is up where it's cold or something like that? Or when Bran's warging in Summer, has he been like the White Wolf I couldn't talk to or something like that?
I feel like we've heard about like the missing one, right? Like they feel like one is missing or something previously.
Okay, cool.
At the very least, yeah.
Yeah, well, let's just get into it because I think a lot of this we're just skirting around some of the stuff that talk about. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of interested to see why you said I would be rethinking. So let's go. Yeah.
All right, so Ghost is running along the wall as the moon, and context clues that it's the wall, right?
The cliff, yeah.
On the south side of the wall.
Yeah.
And the moon just keeps calling out to him, snow, 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 which I think we actually know
The
is
Raven, yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
in John's actual life. And right away, I mean, my first note is that he could see his black brother eating a giant goat that had scraped him.
Yeah.
And his younger sister's down howling with her pack of a lot of his cousins, right? I forget the number, hundreds or thousands.
Yeah. So this is cool. The first one says, his black brother, as he tore at the flesh of an enormous goat, washing the blood from his side where the goat's long horn had raked him. Do goats have, I guess goats have horns. Not long
Yes.
horns. They have little
They can
normally
longhorn goat.
Is that a ram? Is
Look
it just
it
like
up,
a
man.
ram basically then? It looks like a ram?
No, they have long straight horns, some of them.
Okay.
So people put like pool noodles.
I'm
and
thinking
shit
like
in them.
ibex now, but whatever. It doesn't really matter.
You ever been to a petting zoo? They got the pool noodles on them.
Yeah, but those are still little
But
guys.
some of them.
Yeah, I mean, an ibex is a
spin out.
goat,
They're
dude.
kind of
Okay.
like toenails, right? Once they
Okay.
get long, they can kind of grow crazy.
Okay.
The ibex is a European series of goat. This thing has like 12-inch easy horns.
Well, yeah, but an ibex is a goat.
Yeah, it's a type of
okay.
goat.
Okay, fair.
Read a book one time.
It's a mountain
would ya?
goat, dog.
I thought an
Yeah.
ibex was closer to a. Never mind.
I'm reading the internet. It says
No, I believe you. I believe you. I
Okay,
just,
all right.
I
don't
stopped what I was
believe
going
the
to say because it was going to make me sound even dumber.
It's all right, dog.
In another place, his little sister lifted her head to sing to the moon, and 100 small gray cousins broke off their hunt to sing with her. The hills were warmer where they were, and full of food. Many a night his sister's pack gorged on the flesh of sheep and cows and horses, the prey of men, and sometimes even the flesh of man himself. The moon calls again to him, and then he's thinking there had originally been 6. There's only 4 now, including himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he only mentioned 2 just now.
Well, yeah,
And then he says one of those he can no longer sense.
but he knows why. He senses. He has an idea why.
Kyle,
Right?
Rob.
I mean, the
He
book.
thinks it's Rob's.
No.
The book told me that, not me. The gray brother who smelled of summer, he could sense, or he couldn't sense.
Kyle. I want Kyle to read the quote around there.
Okay.
I think read the quote right above what Jeff just said. I think.
4 remained, and one the white wolf could no longer sense.
Keep going.
He said that was where his brother was, the gray brother. Oh, so you're just saying that he's on the other side of the wall?
Yeah. And I think when we had this before, when Summer was doing this, he couldn't sense Ghost because John was with Ghost on the other side of the wall. So I think there's this problem where the wall is preventing.
But Bran's supposed to be coming north.
Bran just went north past the wall.
When he meant cold hands.
And you don't think the
I guess actually what you're saying is a fair point. I was saying that your theory probably isn't a good idea because Bran's north of the wall now, so we have this wall barrier. But it's not crazy to think that John and Ghost would go walking north of the wall one day. John is at the wall, so Ghost could end up. My point is, if Ghost is on the south side, he can't talk to Summer.
Ghost is on the south side. Okay,
Yeah.
so I thought Ghost was on the north side. My bad.
No,
Okay.
that's why he can talk. That's why he can sense Shaggy
Okay.
Dog and Nymeria and not Summer because Summer's on the other side. But to your point, Ghost can just go to the other side, so it's not a big deal. Ghost is at the wall. Ghost can be on either side, right? In any given chapter if something's going on, right? So
The other thing is that Bran is supposed to be kind of going to level up his warg ability, right? He's supposed to be going to unlock it with somebody. That's at least my
Learn how to
where
fly.
I think he's going.
Yep.
Yeah, so why can he potentially end up on the other side of the wall at some point because he can do something other than Summer in Ghost or whatever, right?
Sure. Yep.
I don't know. I see where you're saying they're separated now, so maybe that
Well, I
does
think
kind of
my
define.
point was a moot point anyway
Yeah.
because I realized
It's
I'm
all right.
dumb. Ghost could be. He's on the south
yeah,
side
but
right now, but he could be on the north side very easily.
I mean, he can't. It's not like Ghost can just choose. He really needs the gate to be opened.
sure,
which
but
is-
one thing we hear in this chapter is the wildlings are on the north
Sure.
side of the wall. So if in next chapter John's out there visiting the wildlings, Ghost is probably with him, and then he could.
Well, especially
So
all right. So, but snow, and the Raven. Did the moon fly at John, or somehow it turns
the
into
snow
Raven?
turns into everything in the woods, the icicles, the branches, the leaves, everything starts yelling snow at him, and then the raven lands on his chest.
It's like a snap fall wake up thing in a dream, and it's the Raven yelling at John to wake up, and Ed pops in, Nelson's favorite character,
Great.
ask if he wants breakfast.
Yep.
Ed.
The raven yells corn, corn, corn. John says, "I want roast raven." 3 corns and 1 roast raven. Very good, my lord. Only House made boiled eggs, black sausage, and apple stew with prunes. The apple stew with prunes are excellent, except for the prunes. I will not eat prunes myself. Well, there was this one time when Hop chopped them up with chestnuts and carrots and hit them in the hand. Never trust a cook, my lord. They'll prune you when you least expect it. Yeah, nothing really important there. I just, I love my boy
You just
Ed.
wanted to read it. Yeah.
That wasn't very Dolores, but Dolorous.
More important topic that gets brought up while he's there is, were there any incidents last night, right? So we find out that men of all comings and goings, Queen's men, King's men, Night's Watchmen,
Yep.
are stealing.
Which I had to remind myself. So the Queen's men are Stannis' wife's men, and the King's men are Stannis' men. Both the same group of people, though. Because that was another thing I kind of had forgotten.
Two parts of the same army.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of forgot with the whole dynamic there. So, yep.
Yeah,
Anyway.
big religious split there too. I'll just throw in there.
Yes, yeah, it's the seven and the whatever the lore.
Yep.
Lore.
The Red God. Yep. So then John put guards out there to like guard these wildlings so that men didn't keep coming to get them. But then the guards were taken. So then John put guards on the guards, and now we haven't had any problems recently. John's like, did anybody show up in the night? And he's like, yeah, one lady did with her little daughter and a dead baby. And the raven yells dead. And John thinks it's one of the bird's new favorite words. I like the bird words.
Dead, dead, dead.
They burn he's like, did we question the woman? And he's like, yeah, she didn't know anything though. He's like, and then we burned the baby. John's like, he stopped being bothered by burning dead babies.
Yeah.
I thought he said he never stopped being bothered by it, but he's still like, it was still worse to do a live one. The idea was still worse to do a live one. But either way.
Yeah. This just, again, not a direct parallel, but like how did the last chapter was Danny, right?
Yep.
And that ended with
burn baby bones.
Yeah, the guy
Burn
presenting.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So not a direct parallel, but we got
Pretty
burned
close.
children. Yeah. So yeah, he's like, burning dead children had ceased to trouble Jon Snow. Lives ones were another matter, and that's when she.
Oh no, you're right.
It
Had ceased to do. Oh yeah, jeez.
When he was getting healed by Aemon, right? Because he was probably fucked up in the battle. One of the Queen's men had said something like, 2 kings to wait the dragon, the father first, then the son, so both die kings. So what's that mean?
Well, it was Mance and this baby essentially is what he was kind of like concerned about. And I mean, it really seemed like that was their idea as well, though. Like, let's be real, right? Like, it seemed that was Stannis' plan.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in the Stannis conversation. But
it's also crazy how ignorant, and I know I won't get too much into it, but how ignorant Stannis is of the free folk way.
Yeah.
And just like, he's just so stubborn.
Yeah.
So,
there's another big point about that, but I'll bring it up in the Stannis conversation.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, with like how this kid won't automatically become the king. Yeah. Yeah, well, this was kind of the first part where I'm like, what the fuck is this timeline? I'm like, I thought this baby was dead already, right? Like, or that had left with Sam, rather.
Yeah.
Like, why are they still talking about this? But it was because this is before Sam even left.
Yeah. And you get a little hint of John's, I guess, plan when he first gets with Stannis, right? So, but we'll get there. So he thinks about his wolf dreams and feeling the other wolves, and he was like, I know Grey Wind's dead, but I saw Summer and I felt Shaggy, but Bran and Rickon they were murdered. They were burned at Winterfell
By Theon.
Are they living through their wolves now?
Yep, because he heard about that's how this works with when Arel the eagle slashed his face, right? We actually have new John art. He has scars
we talked
on
about
his
that
face,
in Prologue
so,
1.
Yeah.
But
John knows about it, right? So it's just reminding you guys because we knew about it, but John knows that's how that works too because one of the wildlings told him after the eagle attacked him, I think. So,
Sixskins or that. What was his name?
Varamir Sixskins is from the prologue.
Oh, it was Sixskins. Okay, I was right. But yeah, he told him, right? He's like, yeah, that eagle, he's pissed at you because it's, what's his name? The guy you killed.
And I forgot to mention it, and I realized when we did the prologue, but I think it's a great joke, so I'll just mention it now because we're bringing up his name. In the prologue, he does say at one point he was Varamir 3 skins, and at the end he becomes Varamir 6 skins. So somewhere in there, he was Varamir 4 skins. So that's just good to think about.
Nah, he just pulled on all 3 wolves at once. He jumped right from 3 to 6.
Maybe. But 4 skins is just too good to pass up. So
I'll let him have it. Let him have it.
So he does think too, like, God damn it, this Raven's just too smart. I forget what exactly the Raven was saying at that point. Now
it like flew him over to the window or something. I don't. It was weird.
He just wanted to look out the yard or something, or he asked him to open the window for him.
Yeah, the Raven basically asked him to open the room. The one thing that we skipped over real quick that I want to point out because I think it's a cool quote is when they're talking about the burning the babies and stuff. John had thought that was because he said burn the king or what 2 kings to wait the dragon, the father first, then the son. So maybe not burn, but killing. I think Stannis might have lived to burn later. But John thought that was just a fever dream thing he heard until Aemon basically confirmed it. He's like, no, you heard that. He's like, there's power in king's blood. Aemon confirmed that. Kind of cool because Aemon has King's blood, right? And then Aemon says, and better men than Stannis have done worse things than this. So I'm sure we could rattle off a list of things, but just like,
No.
he's related to the Mad King, right? So you could just say
anything that guy did.
Wheeling Ned's dead. Yeah.
I think that was just a cool quote. Better men than Stannis would have done worse things than this.
Tying Ned's brother up to kill his father.
Do we know if he would have called him a better man than Stannis? I don't know, but so just cool to think about though.
All right, get to the Raven being too smart, right? I think it's just cool that the Ravens.
Maybe he's talking about Dunk, Nelson. What if he's talking about Dunk did worse things?
There you go.
You would hate
Dunk was
that.
a great man.
Yeah, but he did something awful. I mean, I guess we don't know he did some awful stuff as a kid. So yeah, maybe.
It's true.
Anyway,
Yeah, just playing basketball with a head.
making girls kiss it.
And I might know more about Dunk's future than you know, so maybe I know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
Any topic of the Raven right now with the window you want to talk about or no?
I'm trying to find it in my notes. I can't find it, so we're good.
All right, fuck it.
It just was smart enough to go make him go open the window for him.
He's like
that's
his
all. Yeah.
servant.
Yeah.
John is staying in Donald Noy's place while because he's dead.
Yep.
He died.
Real one.
R.I.P.
Died in the tunnel fighting
Just
the
taking
giant.
on a giant, one-handed.
Yeah.
He killed it.
East. They killed each
He
other.
did.
Yep.
And he kind of walked down from his bedroom into like the living room, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And on the table is a letter from Stannis that he hadn't signed yet, but he was expected to, and he would become the Lord Commander who gave away the wall.
Yeah. We don't know exactly, I think, what it is yet, but we learned later in the conversation with Stannis. He wants all the castles. The cool thing here is that John mentions all the things that Donald left behind, which wasn't much. It was just one silver cup, some coins, a Nelio brooch with a broken clasp, and a musty brocade doublet with a stag. What's a Nelio brooch? What's Nelio? I looked this one up. It was
I
actually
was hoping
cool.
you were going to tell us.
Game of Thrones word.
It's not. That is a Game of Thrones word, but I looked it up, and it's like when you take like metal or something like silver and you etch into it. So you like etch like the Eagles
Your
logo
name?
into it.
Oh.
But then there's like this weird mixture of I forget what's in it, but like sulfur and a few other like weird metals that when you melt it, you can like pour it into the enamel, like into the engraving that you made, and then you can polish off the top layer, and it's kind of like, I guess it's kind of like how epoxy works now, but it's like a metal material that would make the engravings black. So when you make an engraving in silver, it makes like the inlay a different color. I looked them up. They were actually like really cool pictures. Yeah, they were like cool. Yeah, exactly.
You're good, Jeff.
Oh, wow, that is dope.
Yeah, kind of like an engraving, but then you get like the really big contrast between like the silver and black color. So I'm probably doing a bad job of describing it, but yeah, Google it. It's Niello. Cool thing. But yeah, so Stannis had been up to a few things since he got here. He rode the whole way down to Queen's Crown. Well, he did go to Queen's Gate too. He went to Queen's Crown, poked around in Molestown, then he inspected Queen's Gate and Oakenshield. I sent you guys the map in the email.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't really matter. You don't have to look at it if you don't want. But
I am.
Molestown and Queen's Crown are down to the south, and then Queen's Gate and Oakenshield are the two castles
Neighboring
closest
castles,
to Castle Black. He also mentions later that he told Stannis he can settle wildlings in the Gift, which I'm not sure if you can see it on the map I sent, but it's basically a big stretch of land underneath.
Brandon's gift and the new gift.
Yeah.
Although I think the new gift is cut off of your map, but
Which I was thinking, like, if he gave him a gift, that means it's like, is there like a stripe of land that they have, and then the wildling, the Night's Watch still have the new gift? That'd be weird. You know what I mean? You feel like you give away the new gift before the gift, I guess is what I'm saying. So yeah, maybe he just gave away all of it, but whatever. Yeah, and then he just walked atop the wall with Melisandre at nighttime, and he questioned wildlings by daytime.
Where are they at? What are they doing?
Yep. John could hear Iron Emmett getting ready with some guys. He's the new Master at Arms.
Yeah, so men are out there starting to train. Iron Emmett was not a Castle Black guy. He was a ranger, right? Or
Cotter Pike guy, yeah. He was a ranger. He
was
with Cotter Pike, who was East. I want to say
Eastwatch?
Yeah,
okay.
Eastwatch.
But he's dope at training guys. He can fight well.
Yeah, John fought with him a few times in Storm of Swords, like in the training yard, and John liked him. So John's in boss now, so John hired him. He's like, he's mine.
Nice.
Fuck you, Cotter.
Yeah, and a Ghost wasn't in his spot as he leaves, so he's like,
Well, obviously, he's out there fucking running. John knows he's out there.
Yeah, but it wasn't
we
like
saw
he
him
had sent him out there to run. Like Ghost just rocked out.
Yeah, but he was just thinking about how he knows, he kind of is understanding how these dreams work, and they're not just
Sure,
dreams.
he understands the dreams, but it wasn't like he was like, hey, Ghost, tonight when we dream, let's go run on the wall, is my point.
I don't know your point at all. Like, if the dream ended with Ghost approaching Castle Black on the horizon, like, okay, then maybe John would expect him back here. But, like, no shit, John, like, the Ghost's bed's empty.
I'm not making a huge point. I'm just saying Ghost really has the freedom to do whatever the fuck he wants, and John taps in every now and again, and if Ghost is there when he wakes up, cool. If Ghost isn't there, it's like...
Okay, I don't know if this was
whatever.
the point.
I'm not making a point. I'm just saying, like, you're acting like it's...
Well, a point that I think is good that you just
you
made
were
me think
acting
of
like
is...
John... No, you shut the fuck up. You were acting like John had, like, dreamed purposefully for Ghost to run the wall so he could get a view of the wall, and I don't believe that. That's the point you were making right there.
Well, that's not what I was trying to say.
That is the point you were making. That's what you said.
Time out.
That's literally what you said.
That's not the point I was trying to
But
make.
it's what you said.
But something along those lines is I think is a good point that you were just making me think of is like John doesn't seem to have any control over Ghost in these dreams. It's more like he's just like along for the ride, right? He's just watching the Ghost movie tonight.
And that's all I was trying to say is that Ghost
I agree
is
with you.
doing shit on his own. You didn't need to make a fucking stink over what I said.
You're just bad at getting your point across.
No, you just cut me off before I could finish my thought, like usual. It's been 6 years. It's amazing how every other week Nelson's like, we were really bad at talking over each other. We were really bad at cutting each other off. Blah, blah, blah. And here's fucking Nelson, chief editor and staff, and can't fucking let someone get their thoughts out.
I put my hand up. I say that I do it just with the rest of us. We all got to be better as a collective, coaches and players.
You, the royal you, have to be better.
The royal we.
The royal.
Yeah. So Iron Emmett, he goes outside. He says, I don't want any guards. Did we say that? Like, no, I don't want any guards.
I would have if you let me finish my thought, but
John doesn't want any guards. Yeah, he's like, I feel like a fucking mama duck leading ducklings around. Like, this is weird.
Yep.
So he does stop for a while, see the men train. I don't remember Horse. It was Horse like a new recruit that's just like is ugly. He looked like a horse.
I think they'd each been mentioned once. Yeah, Horse and Hop Robin. They were both in my notes before, but only like once.
Horse is just beating the shit out of Hop Robin. Who's? I mean, he's got a boot.
He's disabled or whatever, right? He's got a disability.
Get this guy a bow. Let him sit on a turret.
They have some great nicknames for these like handicap people though. Wasn't there another guy with like a peg leg and they called him Spare Boot?
Yes.
And this guy has a club foot and they call him Hop Robin.
That's a great name if it
they call this guy Hop Robin. He's a pet. He's a club foot, so he's probably hopping around.
So he gives Horse the compliments for like, hey, well fought. And then as he keeps watching, he gets hey you, hey boy, hey you, Mr. Lord Snow, hey Lord Commander.
Yep, and one ear out the other. John doesn't even hear that
until the Lord Commander, and then he gets in with Godry the Giant Slayer.
Yep.
He's like, hey, you got that nice sword. Why don't you ever use it? Let's scrap.
Yeah, and John, when he thinks of him being called the Giant Slayer, he thinks of Egret singing the song "The Last of the Giants" and crying about it. Who remembers anything about the song? Kyle?
Nope.
Jeff?
I remember it happening, but nope.
Nah, I don't remember.
Do you at least remember the gist?
Somebody snuck in and killed them all while they were sleeping.
Oh, is this where they're like, oh no, that was Castle Black or something.
The song is just about, it's like from the perspective of the giants, and like the men came in and burned down all our forests and took the rivers and basically just took all the shit that we need to live, and now there's less and less of us. And at the end, the perspective from the last of the giants, it's like as if they had all died out. And at the end, John's like, what are you talking about? There's hundreds of giants left. I just saw them all. And Egret is like crying, and she's like, she says, you know nothing. And the metaphor is like the wildlings. That's kind of what happened to them, right? Is they put the wall up, and now there are people who are dying out. They're getting killed by the others. They need to get south. If they can't, they're all fucked. So, and John's like, look there's millions of you. Like, there's literally a million wildlings that I'm in the middle of.
Yeah, but it's like we're all about to die. Is pretty much what she's saying.
Yeah. So that's what, when you think in the Giant Slayer, this guy killed a giant that was fleeing, right? And you think about this battle, right? The wildlings were all there with their huge encampment, but they had a ton of like women and children like near the front lines because they knew the Night's Watch couldn't like do a front on attack, so they weren't afraid of that. So when Stannis' people came in, it was just
completely unprepared.
Yeah, so like killing a giant is, and they even said it wasn't like he faced him sword in hand. He just chased him down on a horse and stabbed a lance in his back. And John even says something about like the pitiful small head. He got off and like hacked off the pitiful small head. So like maybe it was even like a child giant, right? And these giants aren't like
massive.
Yeah, they're not like the giants from the show. They're like 14 feet tall. Like they're big ass people, but they're like just big ass people. They're not
Yeah.
like giants from like a movie or something like that. Jack and the Beanstalk type giants. So yeah, just good to keep in mind. John says, I fear I have duties to get to. And this guy's like, all he fears. Oh. And then John just walks off. John does a good job.
Ignoring the haters. Just
He doesn't have that Marty McFly in him.
Yeah. What are you, chicken?
I think I have a little bit more of that Marty McFly in me than John does. Not as much as Marty McFly does,
We can
but
talk you into anything.
it's pretty easy to talk me into something. Yeah.
You've gotten better though too. I used to be able to get you to like 3 beer chug at any moment, and now you can't even do it, which is wild.
That's a crazy claim. I'll still do it on the drop of a hat.
You can't do it. Prove it.
I don't know what my mug is.
He can't fucking
He can't do it.
I haven't seen that in quite some time.
I'll do it after the podcast before the spoiler section. Spoiler section will be fun. Hang around for the spoiler section if you want to be here for a fun time.
Oh boy, just too
I thought
good.
you didn't have a can.
I have cans and they're warm. That's why I'm not drinking them now. But warm is
okay.
better for the 3 beer
Warm's
chug.
better for a 3 beer chug. Always gets down faster. So Castle Black's still pretty much ruined. Not shit. Shit's like falling. It looks like it's gonna fall down with a stiff breeze. And the priority is fixing the wall stairs because they blew them up. Right.
Yep. No other way to get up. Except
Besides
for
that,
winch.
the Lord Commander's tower is burnt. How'd this happen?
John.
Exactly. Yep.
The other in the beginning, or the walker in the beginning?
Common Hall was a pile of blackened timbers. How'd this happen?
Is that the wildling attack?
Yeah, I think it was the same time. I think they were like throwing torches on the roof. I might be wrong about that, but that's what I'm thinking. Hardin's tower looked like it would get blown over, but it looked like that for a while. And then the stairs. Not good. And he had people working night and day on that. I think Sam actually mentioned that in the Feast of Crows chapters, that like the builders were kind of pissed off that John was working them to the bone, but they needed the stairs.
They need the fucking stairs, yeah.
Yeah, and now there's a Baratheon flag flying where John had fought during that battle. He was up there fighting with his boys Satin and Deaf Dick Follard. And on his way up, he sees 2 Queensmen shivering on the stairs. And they don't even have their spear. Like, these guys are not. They're like hands under the armpits. Don't even have their spears in their hand.
They ain't guarding.
And
shit.
John's like, those gloves are not going to get it done. Like,
Go get some real gloves,
go get
man.
some gloves
yeah.
from my boy Bowen Marsh.
It is crazy. Like it is all like being warm in the cold is all about your
Mental
gear.
toughness.
No.
Oh.
No. There's no such thing.
He's on bad takes tonight, Jeff. That's all
There's
right.
a whole lot of bad takes. You can only be tough for so long.
It's cold, man. Yeah.
It's all about.
Shit'll kill you.
I've been back on Alone again.
It's all
There's a
about
lot of
gear.
mental. I've been watching Alone Arctic, which is
Well, I mean, that's a whole different battle of mental toughness when you don't even have anybody to talk to. But even if I had you to talk to all night, which would be awful in the
Might be
cold,
worse.
we would still get cold at the same time.
Jeff, you know what I just thought of? One time, Ares Targaryen did blah 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 blah
Yeah,
blah blah.
I'd probably kill you. All
Eat
right, so he's going up to see Stannis, and he does run into Sam here. Sam tells him that he gave Stannis a letter. Couldn't tell him what was in the letter, but he was not happy about it. And
He could. Sam could tell him what was in the letter. He's like, but I'm not supposed to. And John's like, well, then don't. Like, I'll make this easy
shut
for
the
you.
fuck
Don't-
up, Sam.
Don't, because
Yeah.
he's probably gonna tell me. He doesn't say this, but he's like, probably gonna tell me anyway. So, and he does. He gets right in there. Does Sam say anything else interesting? You're like, it's cool seeing your boy, right? Like, I think like you don't expect it because I don't know. You
didn't,
tell me,
yeah.
Kyle. Like, I knew this was coming, but like,
That's what I said. I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. They're not here.
yeah.
Yeah.
You think that it's at the same time as Sam's in Old Town already. So
Yeah.
So cool. And basically John didn't know what the letter was about, who it was from, but he knew the gist. He had sent out all these letters to all the lords.
there's a theme. There's a theme to the letters coming back to Castle Black right
Yeah.
now.
And the one thing Sam did let on is Stannis didn't look happy about it. So he's like, oh, John's thinking, I wonder which one said no this time. The only one that had said yes was House Karstark.
Who ain't have any choice in the matter.
Yep.
No chance.
Yeah, they kind of fucked everybody over, right?
Yep. And John tells Sam, keep at your bow practice. We might need you one
we
night
might
if the
need
others
you.
show up.
Sam the Slayer, baby.
Yep.
So John goes in to see Stannis. He had to give all of his weapons before. Whatever. Easy. Not a big deal.
Except Stannis does whip out his fucking sword later.
Yeah, he's drawing steel on John.
But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
So Melisandre's in there, and Stannis is at the desk. Melisandre, he notices, just like looks like fire. Like she's just fire and blood and blah, blah, blah.
And Stannis is kind of in his PJs.
Yeah,
He's wearing like
sleep
wool
pants.
pants and like a doublet.
I think it's probably like your like long johns, right? He's kind of long johned up right now.
Underclothes.
Before he has to
Yeah.
like go outside and put
Yeah.
some more pants on.
Yeah, and John doesn't have his weapon, so like, what's gonna happen? But yeah, so cool. And he's like, Stannis asks, "Who's Lyanna Mormont?" And he's like, "Well, that's Mage Mormont's youngest daughter, named after my aunt, my dad's. I don't know what he says. My dad's sister. He says like everything in relation to Ned in this one. He's like, my father's
My
banner,
Lord Father's sister,
yeah, or whatever. My father's sister. So Stannis asks how old she is. John thinks she's like, I think she's about 10. He's like, what'd she do? He's like. He reads from the letter, Bear Island knows no king but the king in the north whose name is Stark. And Santa's like, keep that to yourself, by the way. By the way. John's wondering to himself, like, why is Lyanna in charge? She is only 10. She's the youngest of all the daughters. Like,
Where are the other daughters?
Mage went south with Robb. So did Daisy. We saw both of them. Who knows where they are? Trivia.
Are they at Riverrun?
They're both at Harrenhal.
Those are Kyle's was closer, I think. Daisy is no more. That was kind of a trick question. She died at the Twins. Mage Mormont was sent off before Robb got to the Twins. I think she was like, they sent off like a few people to like go meet Hallan Reed and stuff like that. I think like she was one of those people. Like take Ned's bones, maybe. Like you continue on with Ned's bones and go to Hallan Reed or something like that, and then get people ready because the plan was go to the Twins and then keep going north. So I think they were supposed to go
meet up
there.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, we haven't heard her in a while. Mage should be alive, but yeah, Daisy. See ya.
And how is that? Are there more Mormonts, or is that it?
That's what John says. I know how
Did
many.
he say there was a bunch of sisters? Like
he says there's more sisters. I know the full family tree, obviously, and we'll talk about that in the spoiler section. But yeah, there's more sisters, so they're somewhere, and we don't know.
Yeah, it says some with children of their own, so maybe they're in other houses or something, right? Like they could live in some other lord's castle of some married off to somebody else important. So maybe they don't live there anymore. I don't know.
Yeah. And John, again, I think they think it gets brought up a few times in this conversation. Stannis had offered John, right, to be Jon Stark and Lord of Winterfell. John kind of really stupidly, if you actually look at it at the time, said no, because at the time it looked like Janos Slynt was front runner 100% for Lord Commander, and he basically had said he had pretty much straight up he did to John say, I'm going to kill you when I become Lord Commander. And so John said no to that offer in order to go die. And then Sam tricked everybody and made John Lord Commander. So it all worked out in the end. But yeah, it was a kind of a really dumb decision at the time. Just point that out because they do bring it up a few times here.
Yeah.
He had sent out a total of like 40 ravens, 40-ish.
2 score. I was 4 score. I was trying to do the math of what old Abe said, but I didn't give him much thought.
4 and 7, 87. Is that what that?
80. Yeah, was it?
I hope that works.
I didn't do the math to check.
Hope old Abe did.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, so the Karstarks, we heard Karhold was the only one that responded. That's the Karstarks. They're kind of in disarray too, just because we remember way back that they're the ones that killed the little Lannister cousins at Riverrun, and then they had the bounty out on them all, and they were trying to kill Jaime, but were fighting and doing all kinds of shit. Became broken men in the woods, right? So they're just like, fuck, we need an ally.
Well, they got in trouble for killing the Lannister kid, right? Like they were pissed that Robb was mad about it, rather.
Yeah,
right?
Robb killed the main dude.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, we can't be doing that. Yeah, I have to punish you. And then they were like, yeah, well, fuck you. And then that was when they kind of pieced out. And
to be fair to Rickard Karstark, Jaime had killed his son and son or sons, and the other son was captive. And then Cat let him go, and Robb did nothing about that. So he was kind of pissed about that, and he's like, I'm gonna take it. So I'm not saying he did the right thing, but you can kind of see where he's coming from. What's weird to me is, I guess, Kyle, what's the political situation in the North look like right now?
Was just disarray.
Because like Starks are gone. Like what? Who cares? Like one of the points is like they're not friends with the Starks, so like who cares? Like Starks are gone. To be fair, everyone else was friends with the Starks. So, like, if you're not friends with the guy that we're all friends with, obviously that could be a problem. So I see it from that point of view. But, like, I was just wondering, like, what's the North look like politically right now?
Well, I mean, I feel like there's still allegiance to that the idea of the Starks, at least, right? Like
that's what I'm saying. If you're like the odd man out and all the other houses are still like loyal to the Starks and you're not, I can see how that can be a problem. But I guess now, just to you as a general question, what is like Winterfell's burned, right? Like.
Yeah, but there still has to be people from Winterfell somewhere.
Like, is somebody collecting taxes? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I have no idea, man.
Okay.
I don't know. And it's like war ravaged and everybody's trying to get ready for winter. So I don't know that. Well, there's not war ravaged actually. There wasn't much war up here. Well, I don't know how much Theon did, I guess.
Doesn't the story, right, like of Winterfell, like everybody lives in Wintertown, but then like when it truly winter comes, they all kind of get into the castle?
Yeah, I mean, the question isn't about Winterfell specifically, just like with the Starks gone and the war just happened.
Yeah,
and you're
what's
right,
the North look like?
It's not like war ravaged, but a lot of people from the North went
Impacted,
south.
yeah.
So it is impacted big. So yeah, and if you don't know, that's fine. I was just kind of wondering because I think we'll learn a little bit more throughout the book.
Well, didn't like Bolton like try and take over and shit? I feel like the Boltons were really making a play to be in charge.
Boltons were involved with the Red Wedding and kind of got the thumbs up from the Lannisters that like, yeah, you're in charge of the North now on paper. Like, does that mean that they can just show up and be like, hey guys, we're in charge? Like, I think all the other North houses
That's kind of what
know.
Stannis is doing, and it isn't working for him, right? Same idea.
I guess my point here is the other North houses know, probably, right, that the Boltons were involved with the Red Wedding. Yeah. So, like, are they just going to show up and be like, yeah, we're on your side? Cool.
No, that's what I said. There's still a lot of them are still loyal to the idea of the Starks, right? Or at least that loyalty still exists.
So, but yeah, technically on paper, down in King's Landing, the Boltons, I think, are now the Wardens of the North, right? Which would be So, okay, cool. Which is why, because I think it's the whole point there related to here, because when John mentioned something about the Karstarks, like, had no other choice, right? It was, they didn't like the Starks. They weren't friends with the Starks, and they had already killed some lions. It's like, yeah, well, what about the Boltons?
Yeah, like the other traders of the Stark family, they could have.
Yeah, they don't really talk about him here, do they? Well, he mentions, like,
John
people are afraid of him
later. Yeah.
But he doesn't really talk about, like, yeah, fuck those guys.
Not in the breath of the Karstarks had no other choice.
Yeah, they were part of what killed my brother, right? Like they were part of that plan.
Yeah, I mean, he does bring up the fact that the Boltons are like kind of around later, but in the breath when he's like, oh,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Karstarks have no other choice.
I guess they could go with the Boltons, is what you're saying. They could try and team up with them.
Yeah, he forgot that choice in that moment.
Yeah, but the Boltons, are they going to really be able to stand up against Stannis' army?
I mean, I don't think Stannis has too big of an army, but like
he has big enough an army that John's asking for like a large group of people to man the wall still.
Yeah, I mean, but like I don't know if you broke up 100 of them.
The thing that I was looking up was I think the Karstarks were involved in the Red Wedding.
I thought the Boltons were.
The Boltons were, but
I think the Karstarks were already out and about. Weren't they already like on the run?
I don't think they were there, but I don't know.
Some of them met up with the Boltons. I know some of them met up with the Boltons.
They were in
the
tents,
back.
Right? Weren't they like burning tents down?
I think they were outside. On the outside. Yes.
Yeah, I think you're right. So John's just like, yeah, give it time here. Like the North is, we're scarred, right? We just lost a lot of people down south. We're also preparing for winter. We're just kind of getting our bearings right. Like we're not just ready to kneel to another person to go back to another war. Like they're not going to do that. So you're gonna have to chill a little bit, Stanny. Yeah,
it's if they choose wrong, it could mean a lot. Like you're asking a lot of them to get just go jump right back into it. And he's like, plus just Stannis says something about just like none of them have even answered me. And John's like, well, just give them time, you'll get your answers. And he like is like answers like this, and then he crushes the letter from Lyanna. He's like, this isn't what I want. And John's like, yeah, like people are afraid of Tywin. Again, we're back in time. Tywin's still alive too. Well,
yep,
probably maybe not. They just don't know about it yet. And this is where he says, yeah, and Boltons make bad enemies too. They do have a flayed man on their banner after all. So John says some shit to Stannis here that is kind of surprising. Like at one point here, he calls him, he's like, can you really blame them for wanting to give it all, risk it all again for another doomed pretender? It's like,
he just kept firing like hard truths at Stannis, which is like not what he's used to, right? And
well, Davos kind of does that to him too.
Yeah, but he doesn't. Sure, and I think that's why, as we learn later on, like John's kind of growing on him.
Yeah. It's fun to read back through this kind of with that lens for sure, Jeff, where it's like he's appreciating these things from John, essentially. Like, I appreciate a straight man. Like, you shouldn't fucking lie to me just because I'm the king. Like, be honorable, right? Like,
I think George has some poor segues in this chapter too. Like, there's this one right here, I think, like jumped out to me. Is like, what? That makes no sense, Stannis. John had just like finished like this like pretty long paragraph of like shitting on Stannis, and then Melisandre's like, if the realm's doomed,
Grace is doomed, the realm is doomed as well.
Yeah, and then
the realm is doomed.
And this is the one true king, and John says, as you say. And then Stannis says, you spend your words as if they're gold dragons. Because John just said, as you say, like not wanting to elaborate on that. But he had just dumped, like right before that, he had dumped on Stannis, like in a pretty big paragraph. Anyway, like, and then on Gold Dragons, how many gold dragons do you have? Give me your money. Like, it's just like a horrible segue for Stannis to be like, John, how much gold do you got? I want it. I want it. And John's like, well, we get paid in everything but money, so we don't have any money. Sorry, buddy. We have turnips. And he's like, well, that's not going to do it for Salador Sand. We need coin.
What's he trying to get Salador just to be his like navy, basically?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, then if you need coin, you need White Harbor. Not King's Landing or Old Town, but it's the biggest city in the biggest port in the north.
And just because they're a port, they probably bring in the most change. Is that?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a market city.
Like, are they richer than Winterfell? I know Winterfell doesn't probably have shit right now, but
yeah, probably. In general, I would say still, yeah. John says here, Wyman Manley is the richest of the northern bannermen. So maybe not Winterfell, but and Stannis is like, oh, Lord too fat to sit a horse. He already responded. It seems like from what Stannis says here, he didn't say no. He was just like, oh, Stannis, how you doing? I'm not doing too good myself. Anyway, good talking to you. And it's like, what? I asked you if you would send me men or something like that. And he just like ignored the question. It's kind of the take I get from this, but I don't know. And they consider like, oh, maybe we'll marry him to the wildling princess to get him on our side.
I didn't really get why this would be, even to Stannis, like thinking that Val is a princess, like why there's much value in marrying her.
Because there's nobody else in charge of the wildlings if they kill Mance. If they kill Mance and the baby, there's no one else in charge. So now you get Val and potentially the wildlings will follow you.
But what I'm saying is, like, does Manderly really want the whole wildling clan to just like end up being in his backyard?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the idea is the fighting men would help you potentially, but yeah.
Like, I just don't see the, like, marrying Val being this big, like...
It's kind of like a Dany problem. Like, you end up just having, like, a bunch of, like, mouths to feed. Right, if you take this responsibility on. Because most of the wildlings are just, like, starving people that are not fighters. So...
And it's not like White Harbor's, like, under siege right now. Like, they're just kind of chilling in the north.
To me, it's like... Perhaps this lordship would fancy a wildling wife. Like, maybe this guy would like something exotic, like a wildling wife, right? Like, to me, it didn't seem like he was implying that he thought, like, I'm going to give him the wildling army with this lady, but it was...
John then goes on to say, like, you don't understand. He starts talking about Val right away.
She's not the princess, right? The free folk don't follow her.
Okay, yeah, you're right, yeah.
Fucking matter. Like, her relation to Mance means nothing to these people.
Yeah, it's just the dead wife's sister. Like,
that's you're right. Yeah, it says even if she accepts her husband, it does not mean the wildlings will follow him or you.
Yeah, so it seems like the whole point.
Maybe that's kind of what he was hoping, was like, hey, look, I have you in, I have you a place you can stay. Yeah, I don't. That is weird. That doesn't seem that beneficial to Manderly.
If you're Manderly, like, fuck no. Like, I'll find a girl at White Harbor if I really wanted a wife. Like,
I'll tell you about my dead wife and how my health is doing bad, and not answer your question. That's what I do. Yeah.
Let me just keep eating my clam pie. But yeah, so Mance is the only one that the free folk will actually rally around. Like, you're just wasting your time. And Stannis does admire Mance. Like, he's like, yeah, he's a great leader. I enjoy talking to him.
He knows a lot about our enemy, right? Something like that. The true enemy.
The true enemy.
And Stannis has talked to him for hours.
That's what he says, yeah.
Stannis knows way more about the others than we do. If this is true, what he's saying here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spill the beans. Let me know, Stannis. Tell me.
Maybe in Winds of Winter. But, sorry, can't let your crime slide, buddy. You're a deserter.
Classic Stannis.
You gotta die.
And John's even trying to give him the loophole. He's like, yeah, north of the wall, the law stops at the wall. So just like, open the door, let him out the back door, and then let him do something useful north of the wall. He can help you rally the wildlings or something, right? Like,
as long as he's not attacking the wall.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he's more useful to you alive and free, really, is what he's trying to tell him.
Yeah.
And then he just goes back into, right after him saying, no, Val doesn't hold any, lordships here. He's like, oh, yeah, well, I have the son, so they'll follow the son when he's of age. Like, it's a baby. It's going to take you a long time.
Yeah.
Even if it's like an 8-year-old leader, like, what are you talking about, Stannis? You're like, you don't got 15 years to wait for this kid to get the free folk to follow you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's kind of like, I have your prince. You must follow me. Is more of, I think, what he's trying to say, right? Like, I have a hostage kind of thing, right? And they're gonna be like, okay, cool, you have Mance's kid.
Yeah, when he says you could use Mance north of the walls, what Stannis had first replied was, I'm going to use Mance. I'm going to burn him. So this is where we get the burn him. We were talking about it earlier, but this is Stannis straight up says, I'm going to burn him to show everybody how I deal with turncloaks and traitors. And then, yeah, we get into whole, like, you don't become king beyond the wall because your father was. That's not how it works up here. He's like, good, because I don't want any more kings. So Stannis just shirks that off and doesn't really have a good rebuttal to it, but whatever.
Yeah, because Jon is essentially saying they can go make another king if they wanted to right now.
Yeah, it's like it's more like Dothraki style, where it's like it's whoever's the strongest and best. Plus, most of the time, the wildlings just don't have a king.
Yeah, they just don't care about that.
Yeah.
Mance was one of the few to bring them together. Exactly.
Well, I think right now they would probably be looking for another king because just out of necessity, like
because the head just got chopped off. Yeah, and they're trying to figure out
because
what to do.
I'm saying more because the others. Like, seems like the others are more of a recent problem.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, they don't have a good plan.
Yeah, but before, like, if the others aren't flaring up, others like herpes. It seems like they come and go. They're not flaring up. Others the wildlings are wildlings. They're just doing their thing out there in their own clans. But it's like, okay, others are coming. We should all probably work together now, and that's where Mance kind of came in. So right now, I think you could maybe go for another one. But yeah.
So let's get to the real matter at hand, John. Where's my gran at? You sign that shit, dog?
Yeah. And I want to know what this thing says, because there's a few times in this conversation where John's like, I heard from people around the castle, and it turns out it was Gilly, but like he heard from people that Stannis wanted to give the castles away, and that he was even going to give some away to wildlings. Like, so what did Grant say then? Like, just give me Stannis the castles?
They're mine, yeah.
Yeah, I get all the castles to do what I please with.
And then John's has heard what he plans to do.
He's finding out what you please to, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And he's going to give him the Southern Lords that follow him, which I guess, I don't know. No Southern Lord wants to be on the wall. Like, grow up, Stannis. Like, this plan sucks.
Well, the thing is, like, if you actually think about it, like, these guys can't go back, right? I'm sure their castles are occupied by other people already.
Sure.
The Lannisters probably cleared them out, and you need something's better than nothing.
Maybe you occupy it until you win the war, and you're like, no, I'm going back.
Yeah, then they have two castles.
Yeah. All right, I'll send my second son up to the wall.
Maybe come vacation at the wall.
Kid. Fuck up there.
And that's the thing is, like, Stannis, I feel like is just such a bad bargainer. Like, you lease the castles, like rent them, like for an amount of time, and just promise gold that, like, hey, when I become king, I'll have it.
Well, when we win the war, like, you want River Run? We'll talk.
Well, I mean, there's probably just.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't work.
Why would the wall wouldn't River Run?
No, not the wall. I'm saying that you're saying lease it to the southern.
No, he's saying from John. Hey, John, I'll pay you $100 castle or whatever.
All right. So you lease it from the wall, which I get, and then you put your Southern Lords there and like, hey, this is your castle for now. But
you're right. You then have to work out a deal with them if you only have the castle for an amount of time. You can't then just like sell it to a Southern Lord. You have to like rent it to a lord or something.
Well, I mean, he also was just not begging, but asking John for gold and silver to pay Salvador San already. So like, John knows he doesn't have this money to lease.
Yeah. So the one thing that's cool here is out of all the castles, there is one he got, right? He mentions this. He's like, I've already given you the Night Fort.
Yeah, which we've spent some time at.
What's cool about the Night Fort? And Stannis knows this.
That's where the portal is.
The portal. Yes, the weird door under the wall.
What do you think a portal means?
The brother hole?
Yeah, it's a door.
Yeah, but it's like the weird like
Didn't they have a name for it?
Bran went through it, yeah.
The Black Gate.
Black Gate.
It's also a Lord of the Rings thing, so I was second guessing myself. I think they all the forts have a normal gate through the wall, right? But I think they're all closed up.
Yeah.
I guess that's one of the things you would undo.
Couldn't you pick it? You could pick it out if you wanted to.
Yeah, but it's long, right? John says it's more like a
tunnel.
tunnel.
I know it would take some time, but like it's not.
I agree. That's like one of the top things on the checklist.
Hey, guess what? You got some prisoners here. Like, give them a pickaxe and tell them to start chopping.
I agree. You could definitely do it. I guess the question is that something you want to do right now?
Like, yeah, like why would you want that? Yeah, more ways for them to come through.
Well, I think if you're gonna be the castle guy, you at least want the freedom to be able to check out the other side.
I don't know. The other side seems scary.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how many people you're putting at each castle. If you're putting like 200, then maybe it makes sense. If you're putting 15, maybe not.
Yeah, but there's resources over there. I guess there's maybe some resources south, but like you go north, you're hunting. You got wood. You can chop. You can
Well, that's the main thing. Is
Right.
normally at the castle you're at, you want to be able to go north so you can clear away the forest. John said at
Well,
most
that too,
places
yeah.
the forest is creeped up to the wall, so you can't even see anything, even
Yeah,
at the
you're
top
right.
of the wall.
Yeah, at the portal. Yeah.
So, but I think it depends on how many people you sent there. If you sent 15 people, you probably don't want to open that gate because it's very likely you'd be outnumbered.
Indefensible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you had 200 people, maybe it's a different story because again, like that wall does help in a battle. So if you can get through and clear it, it might be worth it if you had 200 people. But yeah, doesn't matter. It is interesting that he has the night fort though, because that is a cool castle, cool fort. Yeah, castle, I guess.
It's just haunted.
Even so, it'll be a while, 6 months till that place is habitable. So Stannis is chilling here for a while, I guess.
Sounds like it.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a pretty cool. There's just like with the rumor mill with Gilly. I think is like John thinks to himself like, all right, I got to be careful how I play this because like Gilly, we like he already knew that he wanted to get Gilly away, right? With the baby switch is already a plan.
It's a good point. He brings up sending Gilly away here, so that's probably true. Yep.
So, but he wanted to make sure, like, hey, don't worry about that rumor mill starter. Like, she's already out of here. Like, you don't have to kill her, or like, it's cool. I got this handled, right?
He's given a reason to get rid of her. Yeah, but not enough to make it suspicious.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying, Jeff? Yeah.
And good call bringing that up. That was the thing that I said earlier that I wanted to bring up again when we talk about him saying he was going to burn the king and then
Son.
the father and then the son, so they were both kings. Is we know John has sent off the second one, right? We learned that happened in the Feast of Crows book. So like he can't do that. I guess prediction for Kyle is like, say this plays out, Stannis burns Mance. He's like, all right, bring me the baby. What happens next? John runs out and he's like, hey, gotcha. Wrong baby. Is Stannis like, I guess what? Yeah. How does that go?
I feel like John has to let this baby get burned.
John just like, what's the point then?
See
Why do we even send off a baby?
See a little Gilly
If a baby's gonna get burned anyway?
because it's not the king baby.
Yeah.
John doesn't care which baby gets burned. A baby.
Yeah, John knows that's not the king baby. Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess he has to come out and say, yeah, that's not actually real
That was the
blood.
whole point of sending off Aemon and the baby.
Yeah, I guess. No, you're right. He has to come out and say that. You're right, Jeff. Or no.
Well, I think if you're like, hey, guess what? I pulled the switcheroo. You're actually not going to get king's blood from burning this one. Like, there's no pointing. Like, now, if you're Stannis and you're truly, like, set, you probably burn. Again, I'm saying this as Stannis.
John.
You probably burn the kid anyway just to make sure he wasn't lying. Right? So
That's kind of what I was wondering. Yeah, is that how that goes?
Stannis would probably be like, well, fuck it. I don't care. I don't believe you. I'm killing it. You know, I need the blood. And he probably burns him anyway.
I don't know. Stannis seems like too rigid in his code, right? Like that if there's any chance that this isn't even the right thing,
Nah, I don't know.
he is then a baby slayer at that point.
He's already killing a baby. Like, is that...
For a reason, though.
Yeah, but that's not like just because...
I'm not saying it's just. I'm saying he has this code that he
you
lives
just said
by.
he's a rigid in his code, which is just being just and
Yeah, but when
following
John comes out and says this isn't the real baby, you don't think there's a slight chance in Stannis' mind that he thinks John's lying?
Well, sure. Right.
So then it's like what percentage chance does Stannis think this is? Because I think I agree with Kyle. If Stannis was 100% sure it was the wrong baby, I don't think he'd burn it.
Correct, but he has someone whispering in his ear.
Yeah, we don't have photo ID. We don't have
he has
paternity
Val and
test
stuff. He has other people.
And forget about Val. Mel is going to be like, no, we need this baby's blood. Burn that motherfucker.
And everyone but Mel is going to be like, no, it's the wrong baby, just because everyone else doesn't want to see a baby burned. And Stannis is going to know that that's how that works.
I don't know that she's going to say that, though. I think she might know at that point. Based on the end of this conversation that she has with John, she seems to know more than she leads on.
That's a good point.
So if she knows more, why would she let the baby switch happen?
I don't know, Jeff. She didn't know that. She even kind of says that herself. Must happen. It may happen.
Yeah, she says like I don't know everything. Yeah, I get they send me the visions. I could, yeah. Some of what she says, we'll get into what she says later.
She could then search out, is this the king, and like in the fires and find out. No,
yeah,
I don't know.
It's interesting too that the big reason of why Gilly's able to like get sent off is because she's Craster's daughter and wife, and he just hates that abomination. So he's like, gosh, like
abomination,
incest, get it out of here.
Hot word, Kyle. Yep.
Prologue word. Yeah.
The one thing we did skip over real quick is at one point again, Stannis just brings up, I was going to give you Winterfell. And John's like, that should go to Sansa. I forget how it goes, but he's like, Winterfell goes to Sansa.
That's Sansa's. Yeah, she's next.
And Stannis is like, no fucking way. She's married to Tyrion.
Is she and that imp? Yeah.
I ain't letting him touch Winterfell.
And then like John says something like, or he thinks like, he knew better than to press the point. But like, if you think back, like John again, him and Tyrion weren't friends. They like didn't spend a prolonged amount of time together, but they had a few conversations, and for the most part, they liked each other. Like their farewell was like very wholesome. I think it was like
Tyrion seemed to be one of the few that respected him for being an outsider, right? Like he's like we kind of share similarities and stuff like that, and they did seem like Jon was on the same wavelength with a lot of that.
And I don't think that after all of the news that Jon has heard from the South of all the horrible things that the Lannisters did to his family, that means that he would still want Tyrion. Like, I think Jon is probably like, I think Jon's in more agreement with Stannis than not here, right? But I think it's interesting, like, the way that there's like a couple sentences read, because it's like, he didn't want to press the point, which I was like, what does that mean? You just didn't want to argue more for Sansa, or like argue that, like, you know what, Tyrion's not that bad, but yeah, I don't know. Doesn't really matter again. But
the funny thing is Stannis stands on all this business about him being in line to be king, so then why wouldn't he be like, yes, it does belong to Sansa?
Exactly. Like Jon could have been like, sir, the law should be iron, not pudding. I don't know if Stannis has said that already, but he does at some point.
I think that's with Mance.
I thought it was here, but yeah.
I think that was when he was like, I can't let him go. I need to kill him.
Yeah, maybe for Mance. Yep. So yeah, the Gilly baby stuff. Oh yeah, and then like Jeff was saying, Stannis finds out here about Gilly is Craster's wife and daughter, and then we hear abomination. Yeah, and he's like, yeah. Stannis is like, yeah, get rid of this lady. Well, I don't want that around me.
Yeah. So Jon changed the subject back to the castle pretty quickly, and he's like, yeah, I just can't give them to you. Like, it's ours. It's all we've got, and the brothers would not go for that.
Yeah, it'd be a laughingstock. We can't do it.
And he pulls out his nice, cool blue-orange sword, lays it on the table.
At some points, Jon starts hitting him with some Night's Watch like oath lines.
Yeah, like, who do you think you are? You know, I'm the Watcher on the wall.
The sword in the darkness. And Stannis like, you want to see a sword in the darkness? Look at this bitch on the table.
Neat, Stanny.
Yeah. Stannis at one point does drop the funny line when he's kicking Gilly out. I'll suffer no abominations. This isn't King's Landing, which is definitely like a jab.
It's a Lannister jab.
Yeah, Joffrey and Tommen and Marcella's not there anymore, but her too.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So he puts his sword on the table. It looks cool. I feel like I have a little quote of what it looks like. Maybe not.
Here is your sword in the darkness. Light rippled up and down the blade. Now red, now yellow, now orange. Painting the king's face in harsh, bright hues. Even a green boy should be able to see that. Are you blind?
Yep. One little thing. Jon says when sending off Gilly, we can get goat's milk for her for the baby in the meantime. Sam is the one that tells Jon that goat's milk is better than cow's milk for a baby. But Jon tells Sam that when... Time out. Scratch that. Reverse it. Sam tells Jon that in the Sam chapter when Jon sends Sam away, which hasn't happened yet. But tracking that?
Mm-hmm.
So how does Jon know this? And the answer is Jon just already knew it. It's an easy answer. But interesting to think about. George fucked up? Maybe.
Jon just had a little bit of common sense.
Yeah. Jon just knew it already. Maybe.
Yeah. So there was some wet nurse at Winterfell that was using goat's milk.
Yeah, but Sam probably read it in a book, so.
I don't know.
Is this where Jon basically he's like,
I do need the castles garrisoned. You're right. Like, they need people in them.
Yeah, he gives his proposition.
So give me your guys. You got plenty of men. They can be Night's Watchmen. It seems like none of them are gonna come to stay on the wall. Like, you crazy?
Well, yeah. So Jon gives a proposition. I'm gonna send officers to all the castles, and then you provide the men. And yeah, Stannis like, no, my men are not joining the watch. Are you stupid? Like,
they're knights.
Yeah,
we're not the Night's Watch.
They don't need to be. Just they can wear whatever cloak they want. Just as long as they listen to what the officers say. Just go and serve there.
They just need to man the wall. Yeah.
Stannis says something like, "You're bold."
Yeah, he's like, they're not gonna fucking work for poachers and prisoners and thieves. Like, these guys are kings and lords.
And Jon's like, "Wait, who's your hand again?"
Yeah, exactly.
What did he used to do? Oh, that's right. He was a smuggler. And Stan's like, "I cut his fingers off for that, and not anymore." Right? That's the other thing. And then Stannis just starts threatening him. He's like, "You're the 998th Lord Commander." He's like, "I wonder what the 999th is going to think about this proposition. I bet you he'll be more..."
What do you think the
Especially when your head's on a fucking pole.
Yeah, he sees what happens to the guy that says no, and he'll know what the answer is, I think, right?
Yeah, and then he says, "The king laid the bright blade down on the map along the wall. It's steel shimmering like sunlight on water." Cool sword.
It is a cool sword.
It's fake fire.
Even if it's light without heat, it's still cool.
Magic tricks.
My next note is Jon wasn't really used to commanding yet, or like.
Hang on, another Game of Thrones word, real quick. Stannis tells Jon again because he's threatening him here. He's like, "You're only Lord Commander by my sufferance." Who wants it? Who wants to try first? Sufferance.
Just by his will, his letting him be that.
Pretty close.
I mean, that's the context clues. I don't.
Yeah, by my absence of objection rather than approval.
Because I'm letting you.
Like only because I'm not saying you can't.
Yeah.
Not because I'm saying you can, just because I'm not saying you can't. We just kind of, I don't know, a cool word. Cool word. I like that.
Yeah, it undercuts John a little bit. Yeah, for sure.
Because again, he just does have more men. Like if Stannis wanted to, he could just like pretty much overthrow this place, which is kind of scary for John because, like, you're treading on thin ice. You know this guy, and you know you can't push him too far, and he is threatening to kill you multiple times in this meeting. Like, and he could if he wants to. So it's kind of cool. Yeah. And he's like, plus I've had some complaints about the election in general. This is what Stannis says.
You cheated.
And this is a good point.
A blind guy and your best friend were doing the count. That doesn't.
Yeah.
Who proved
Wasn't
that?
it in the room full of people though?
Yeah, but on paper those points don't look good.
Pull one out of the jar and two out of your pocket.
I guess.
And like you pointed out, Kyle, the Raven was campaigning at the polling place. Raven's in the kettle.
No.
I didn't even know that was a law, but Raven's breaking that one. And then he brings up Ned. John says something like, "You're a just man. My father always said so. You know that I won that honorably." And Stannis like, "I was never really friends with Ned, but he had some sense. He would have given me these castles." And John thinks, "No, he fucking
No
wouldn't have."
shot, brother.
But he says, "I don't know what my dad would have done, but I'm not giving them to you. Sorry, buddy." And Stannis is like, "Okay, fine, but if you don't have them garrisoned in the year, then I'm going to take them whether you want me to or not. And if any of them fall into the foe's hand..."
Taking your head.
What's the foe here? I think this is interesting because I think
there's a couple options to it.
I think John should only really care about the foe to the north, but I agree. I think if Stannis...
Yeah, that's the way I look at it, but he's probably talking about like Carholds or not the Carholds because they're on Stannis' side. Yeah, Bolton's or
them, pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anybody but them taking the castle, I don't think would be okay with Stannis.
The true enemy to the north they ain't sleeping. They're not. Yeah.
I think John, like honestly, like if some Greyjoy showed up and took one of the castles, John might be like, you know what?
It's kind of defense.
It's better than nobody. Butts and seats. Exactly. Like we got butts and seats. It's all like it's better than
as
nothing.
long as they're all like 6 castles away, right? Like it doesn't matter so much.
Yeah. So I don't know.
So John goes to leave. Mel follows him out. They have a nice little conversation here. And Mel was like, "Hey, Stannis is growing fonder of you." John has a great reply. And like, "Oh yeah, because of all the times he's threatened to chop my head off."
Yeah. And she says, and this is, I feel like I've heard this before. What is it? It's like from, it's probably about teachers and coaches. And they're like, as long as they're talking to you and trying to correct you, that's better. If they're not saying shit, that means they don't give a fuck about you. But as long as they're like yelling at you, that means they see potential and they're trying to, That's not exactly what's going on with John here, but.
When I stop coaching you, you should be worried.
Well, and it also feels like Stannis kind of likes the verbal sparring, like from what we've seen with Davos a little bit too. And like that kind of is how he works through ideas and like plans and stuff too.
I think for Stannis, it's exactly that. I think he respects people that are not pushovers. And a good way to find out that is to like apply pressure and see if they hold up to it. And like both Davos and I think it's a great comparison, both Davos and John, I'm pretty sure he has threatened with death. And they just continue to just give him more hard truths in response. Like they don't beg for their life. They just give him more hard truths. And in the end, he's like, fuck, okay, I probably need to hear this or whatever, right? And just turns out okay. But I have the rest of this part from here to the end as a quote.
I knew you'd have it as a quote.
"It may be that you are not wrong about the Wildling King. I shall pray for the Lord of Light to send me guidance. When I gaze into the flames, I can see through stone and earth and find the truth within men's souls. I can speak to kings long dead and children not yet born, and watch the years and seasons flicker past until the end of days.
Your fire's never wrong."
Never. Though we priests are mortal and sometimes err, mistaking this must come, for this may come.
John could feel her heat, even through his wool and boiled leather. The sight of them arm in arm was drawing curious looks. They will be whispering in the barracks tonight.
"If you could truly see the morrow in your flames, tell me when and where the next wildling attack will come."
He slipped his arm free.
For Lord sends us what visions he will, but I shall seek for this man torment in my flames.
Melisandre's red lips curled into a smile.
I have seen you in my fires, Jon Snow.
"Is that a threat, my lady?" Do you mean to burn me too?
You mistake my meaning.
She gave him a searching look.
I fear that I make you uneasy, Lord Snow.
John did not deny it.
Wall is no place for a woman.
You are wrong. I have dreamed of your wall, Jon Snow. Great was the lore that raised it, and great the spells that locked beneath its ice. We walked beneath one of the hinges of the world.
Melisandre gazed up at it, her breath a warm, moist cloud in the air.
This is my place, as it is yours, and soon enough you may have grave need of me. Do not refuse my friendship, Jon. I have seen you in the storm, hard pressed, with enemies on every side. You have so many enemies. Shall I tell you their names?
I know their names.
Do not be so certain.
The ruby at Melisandre's throat gleamed red.
It is not the foes who curse you to your face that you must fear, but those who smile when you are looking and sharpen their knives when you turn your back. You would do well to keep your wolf close beside you. Ice, I see, and daggers in the dark. Blood frozen red and hard, and naked steel. It was very cold.
It is always cold on the wall.
You think so?
I know so, my lady.
Then you know nothing, Jon Snow.
Yep. Kyle, what we think?
I don't fucking know, man. What do you mean? This lady is nuts. She's going hard on all sorts of crazy stuff. I mean, I think she's got a point. Like earlier, we just saw Stannis' dude beefing up with him for no real reason, right? Like, there's obviously a bunch of people that are out for Jon, even beyond the people that he knows. But I think he at least thinks that he knows that everybody's after him.
I can see Jon, Jon has that net in him where he's like, yeah, I know who my enemies are. And it's kind of what she says. It's like the ones who tell me they don't like me. And she's like, no, those
aren't the ones you got to worry about. They're at least honest to you.
She doesn't say this, but like, that's not what got your dad killed, right? Like, That's not like, those are not the people that that's not what
the ones he trusted. It was the little fingers.
Yeah. Like you have a blind spot.
Yeah.
So
the people using you or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, it's not just you. It's everyone has a blind spot. It's just like, it's almost like for people like Jon and Ned and like the really honorable people, it's like a willful blind spot. It's like, I'm so honorable that I can't even imagine somebody else
dicking me over.
Wouldn't act the same way. Exactly. So
did I answer your question?
Yeah, I just like I think the whole quote's interesting. I feel like a lot of it is recap stuff because like her talking about her fires, I feel like most of that we've seen before, but like her saying I can speak to kings long dead and children not yet born, like again, take it all with a grain of salt, I guess, but
well, I think the other thing here is also that like, her power seems more real or solidified, right? Because like she's like not cold, and she even says like it's because of her lore, and then like Jon's like the ruby's gleaming, and then she says exactly what Jon had been thinking about the whole time. Ygritte's line, right? Or
exactly.
Like, so
I guess my point is like, how would Mel know that? Like that has to just be magic vision.
And that was what I
right?
said something about that earlier, I guess, where I was saying like, yeah, she seems to put on that she knows more than she should for sure. So,
but like this one, that like to me, there's no logical way. And again, that's kind of my first take too. Is like, is there like, kind of the same thing? Like I think we said with Crescent, right? Like, is there a logical way that Melisandre didn't use powers when Crescent took the poison and they both drank the same wine and she didn't die and he did? And I think you were the one that said something like, yeah, like he fell asleep with the fucking poison on the desk next to his head. If somebody came in, they would have seen the poison, could have just gone and told Mel. She could have taken some antidote before the feast even started, assuming something like this would happen. Right. So, and that's like a non-magical solution. Do I think that's probably the most likely? Probably not. Right. Especially when you see shit like this, where she definitely does have powers. Right. But I always like to think, is there a non-magical answer? And this one is just like, again, the shadow baby is the biggest stumper. Right. That's happened multiple times. So
just like
there's obviously magic with Mel. I'm not saying there's no magic. So I'm not trying to.
That was just an actual thing.
But this is again, just like,
I think cool. It would be another thing too, if she was the only one exhibiting anything, but we've seen Fire Ladder, we've seen Jon Warg and stuff, right? Like, I mean, there's obviously some stuff happening, so it's hard to just be like, no, it can't be a magical, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? There has to be a realistic explanation for these things. No, it feels like a magical fits.
The other thing that you were thinking that I guess I always thought that Mel probably just like saw visions of Jon in the past with him and Ygritte interacting where she said this, but you said that she said the thing that he had been thinking all chapter, which makes more sense because how would she know that this was like a meaningful phrase to Jon? Like even if she saw Ygritte say it to him like once or twice, like how would she know that this is like the thing that Jon plays
that's
in
a good
his
point.
head the same way that Tyrion. And so does that allude to that she has more of like a mind ready or can like sense what than it is that she can just see into the past?
I don't know, man. Yeah. Well, I was going to throw out an even wilder theory that I don't even believe, but like, what if she wargs into Ygritte?
No,
She people wargs.
She's not a warg.
That's all she does.
I want to say my opinion would be that she had seen a pretty emotional. Maybe she saw the moment in the cave, right, where he knows that like his heart's really into Ygritte, and like that phrase. She knew that phrase would strike a chord.
You're right. A moment like that would probably make it clear that phrase,
not just like some
important.
random, like even Ygritte dying, like that's the last thing she said to Jon, right? Like
I'm just like picturing Mel like watching that on like her like late night Fire TV and being like, you know nothing, like, and that's the first time she's ever heard that phrase. That's
down.
like such a like Mel's just like, that's such a weird thing to say in that situation, and then she's like, oh, that must be like an inside joke of some sort, right? Yeah, write that down, or something like that. Yeah, I could see it though.
Back.
That's good shit.
I could see
write
it.
that.
Yeah,
could be important.
All right, let's wrap her up.
Yeah, I don't know if I have anything else. I guess the one thing that I wanted to ask was the thing about the baby, but we talked about that already.
Yeah.
What will Stannis do when he finds out the baby that he wants isn't the right baby?
Let's roll, dog.
Cool.
See you, Kyle.
Right. Yeah. Anything else, Kyle?
Nope.
All right. See you in the next one. For I don't even know what it is. What is the next
Bran?
one? Ooh.
Wow.
He's the one I think we've been away from the longest.
Yeah, that'll be good. He's north of the wall on a fucking moose
On an
elk. Yeah.
Yep. All right. We'll see Kyle in the next one for that one. See the rest of you guys in the spoiler section. Bye, Kyle.
Later, nerds.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Bye, Kyle.
Bye, Kyle. Thanks for hanging out with us.
See you on the next one for Bran 1.
Bran
Now
1.
on the spoiler section. Jeff,
Hot takes.
what we got?
Surprised Kyle didn't dive into the. I'm just going to start at the end and then we can jump back. Like, reading it this time, I have two things. One, I think Kyle could have maybe predicted that like, Jon would get stabbed, right? Because like there's daggers, there's blood on the frozen ground,
I wonder if he knows, right? Because I feel like he has heard Jon Snow's dead at some point. I mean, it was just like the biggest thing in pop culture media for that year, but between season 5 and 6. And his wife watched the show, and his wife watched the show.
I mean, that would be the thing, is that like if his wife was like, oh my gosh, like Jon Snow, can you believe it, Kyle? Like the Jon Snow died that episode. Like if she just heard like, oh my god, Jon's dead, like while she's talking to a friend, he could go one ear out the other. Like I hear people talk about shows and like, okay, like like Tell Me Lies is a big show right now. I'm not watching it, and my wife is. She like I don't know the people. It's like, oh man, that Steven's a bad dude, and I'm like, all right, guess Steven's a bad dude. Like I guess I could, to your point now.
But you wouldn't remember that 10 years later. It's 10 years. At this point.
10 years later, like, all right, fuck, Steven was a bad dude.
Yeah,
but
and Jon Snow it's not like Daenerys, right? Jon Snow's a pretty like common name,
especially if it's just Jon.
Yeah,
like if you just heard, oh, Jon died, but.
But that's why I was afraid to press the point, because I agree with you.
I think it was fine to not press the point, but I think since we've pressed the point with other vision-y stuff like this, and he has tried to get kind of, especially with the Dunk and Egg series, where the Green Dreams, and he tried to like really pull out like what was actually. He didn't even like think about like it metaphorically speaking. Like,
and part of the reason I didn't press the point is because I think we'll get very similar things from Mel.
Yeah,
a couple more times. So we'll have more opportunities to like raise it if we want.
Yeah. The only thing I know for a fact is that she's there to save him, bring him back. You're going to need my friendship, Jon Snow.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of theories on how this would happen. And it's one of the things where it's kind of crazy how much I read and know about Game of Thrones. And I don't know if I have a thought on how I agree, Jon Snow will come back. Do I know how that works? So here's the thing, right? Shireen getting burned. That seems like an obvious potential for how we do magic to get Jon to come back. However, I don't think there's any way we have Shireen getting burned without Stannis being around. Like, that just doesn't matter.
I don't think we need to burn anybody to bring Jon back.
So how does Jon come back? Melisandre just comes over and cuts some hair, puts it in a bowl, and says some words. And
I don't think it's a spell at all. I think she gives him the kiss.
Okay.
Why does it have to be anything more than what Thoros would do?
That's a great point. The thing is, does she?
It's the same religion.
It's the same
Thoros
religion.
didn't.
Yeah.
Thoros didn't know it till he did it.
So okay, it's a great point. I actually agree with you at this point. I don't think I ever thought of that before, but
That's
think
great.
I agree with you at this point. And here's the thing: at first, when you said that, my objection was Melisandre never met Thoros. They in the show they did, not in the books. However, if you actually think about it, Melisandre, I think she claimed, like, I think in her chapter she says something about, like, I think she alludes to being like really old, like a couple 100 years old again. Maybe that's a show thing. I'm forgetting. Maybe she's not that old.
That's later, right? Yeah, I don't.
She has a chapter, and she has one POV chapter in this book.
I remember because she talks. I swear she talks about like how she fakes fire and shit.
She
like
fakes
that.
some
Like
stuff. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, and that's why I'm always very skeptical of her. Because she basically admits to faking some stuff. But my point was, if Thoros knew about this thing, because what I think you're right. What Thoros said was, I didn't do the last kiss because I believed in R'hllor. It was because he was my friend and he was dying, and it was the only thing. It was what I'd been taught. It was like basically muscle memory from the Red Preschool. Thoros knows that. Mel knows that. Thoros was like the drunk idiot who barely went to class, right? Mel knows the shit.
Especially if Mel wants this person saved. Like if she's already seen it, right? She's seen that Jon's gonna. She doesn't know it, but she knows that there's blood, daggers, Jon, cold, right? And like it's a metaphor of the other metaphor that I thought maybe Kyle would pick up on is like she's like, oh, it's cold, it'll be cold, and he's like, oh, it's always on the wall, and then like you know nothing. Like I know the you know nothing kind of hides like. You go to Egret right away and not actually like what she meant of it being cold, and it's not the wall's cold, it's actually death is cold and you're gonna die.
Well, I think you're picking up on a great part, and I don't even think you fully know why. So let me read the last little part of this chapter, and then I'll read you the section where Jon dies. Because Jon dying is actually a little different in the books than it is in the show, and I'm even tainted. I remember the show.
Don't they have I remember they have a grave already set up, right?
That's a show thing.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the last lines of this chapter, and what I'm pointing out here is the cold. I think you're 100% right. Think about the last thing Mel says right here. She says, "You would do well to keep your wolf close beside you. Ice I see, and daggers in the dark. Blood frozen red and hard, and naked steel. It was very cold." It's the last thing Mel says, and then Jon says, "It's always cold on the wall." That's a weird, like, so before we get into the last few, like, back and forth, blood frozen red and hard, and naked steel. It was very cold. Like, what is it? The blood, or just like in general?
Yeah, so I do think I remember the book now. Wasn't he told like they were getting ready to, like, people were about to attack, like the traitors were attacking the wall or something like that?
Well,
or
so what happened was he had just gone into the general gist is he had got the pink letter, right? Where they're like, hey, Stannis is dead. We found Mance. He was a hideout in Winterfell. We've hanged him. We fled. I forget exactly what it is, but we've killed Mance and Stannis, and they're all dead. And like I want my bride back. I want my reek back. I want all this other stuff. And he keeps calling Jon the bastard. And basically what happens is Jon goes into the common hall.
Who's the wife? Who did they steal?
Fake Arya. Theon escaped with fake Arya, who's actually Jean Poole. And
Theon gets all the way to the wall? I don't know.
No, Theon gets to Stannis.
Oh, okay.
But I think the letter still says, I want my reek back. I want my wife back. Jon doesn't know. Jon probably has no idea what that means. Jon then goes into the common hall, and he basically says, I'm sending the Night's Watch. Basically, this is...
We're marching on Winterfell?
No. He says, I'm deserting. Not really, but he says, hey, the Night's Watch, everything is still going on as planned, and the plan was, I'm going to send a ranging party off to Hardhome. I think the plan was for him to lead that, and basically now he's saying, I'm not going to lead that anymore. Somebody else is going to lead that. But that's still going to happen. I'm going to go by myself to Winterfell because this is my battle, no one else's battle, unless anyone in here wants to join me. And the hall is full of like 200 wildlings and 50 Night's Watchmen. And all the wildlings erupt, and they're like, yes, we're with you. Because he reads the letter to them, and a lot of the letters talking about how like they killed Mance and hung him up and flayed him and whatever. So the wildlings are just fired up about them killing
Avenging Mance.
So Jon basically says, hey, I'm done with the Night's Watch shit. I have other shit to do. I'm going, again, not in as blunt of terms of this, but that's what he says. And he's like, I'm going south. And then right after he does this and the wildlings erupt, they hear some screaming outside. And it's at the tower that Val has been chilling in. Mm-hmm. And at first Jon thinks it's her, but like, no, it's not her. And they go out there, and the giant has torn a dude apart, literally like ripped an arm off. And you're going to love this. I'm sure I've told you this before. George lost, I think he won a bet.
Yeah, football. The Giants beat the Cowboys. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
he lost a bet and he had to add a knight with a cowboy sigil basically in. So he added the guy in, but then at the end of the book, he makes the big climactic of the whole book, right? Is the giant, because George is a giant and Jets fan, destroys this knight, rips his. He likes them both. He's a New York guy.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either. But he rips the guy. Literally, the giant rips the guy, the cowboy's arm off, and starts smashing him against the wall like to a bloody pulp. The thought is that guy had tried to go claim Val, right? He knows they're getting onto the wildling customs. I'm gonna go steal this guy, but the giant was like, "Fuck no," and ended that. John comes out. There's a big commotion, and basically he's telling people like, "No, put your knives away." And this is where I'll read the quote, because it is different from the show. And again, remember, Melisandre in this chapter ends with, "It was very cold," right? John had to put an end to this, or more men would die. There's no idea. They had no idea. They had no idea of one's strength. A horn. I need a horn. He saw the glint of steel. Turned towards it. "No blades!" he screamed. "Wick, put that knife away," he meant to say. When Wick Whittlestick slashed at his throat, the word turned to a grunt. John twisted from the knife, just enough so that it barely grazed his skin. "He cut me." When he put his hand to the side of his neck, blood welled between his fingers. "Why?" "For the watch." Wick slashed at him again. This time, John caught his wrist and bent his arm back until he dropped the dagger. The gangling steward backed away and his hand upraised as if to say, "Not me. It was not me." Men were screaming. John searched for Longclaw, but his fingers had grown stiff and clumsy. Somehow he could not seem to get the sword free from its scabbard. Then Bowen Marsh stood there before him, tears running down his cheeks. For the watch. He punched John in the belly. When he pulled his hand away, the dagger stayed where he had buried it. John fell to his knees. He found the dagger's hilt and wrenched it free. In the cold night air, the wound was smoking. "Ghost," he whispered. Pain washed over him, sticked him with the pointy end. When the dagger took him between the shoulder blades, he gave a grunt and fell face first into the snow. He never felt the fourth knife, only the cold. And that's it. So I think Melisandre saying the cold is very telling, because when John gets stabbed, the last thing he thinks is, "I didn't feel the fourth knife, only the cold." So when she says it was very cold, I don't think she's talking about the blood frozen hard red in the snow and naked steel. I think she's talking about John's last thought, right? Yeah. And then John said, again, because then that's not actually the last line of this chapter, right? The last line is then John says, "It's always cold on the wall." And she says, "Oh, you think so?" Like,
yeah, and again, like, you know nothing. Like, I'm not talking temperature cold. I think is what, like, if you can forget about egret, like the egret, like, "Hey, I know shit because I'm about to drop this egret line on you." Like, if you really think, I'm not talking about temperature cold.
Yep.
Yeah. It's crazy that Bowen Marsh is the one that did it. Wasn't Bowen Marsh a friend? Like, I know it's fucking crying. Like,
well, and part of it is I wanted to definitely let you know that early. Like, John wanted this book, because I think if you read through the books, like, John tries to be reasonable with Bowen, but pretty much every time Bowen gives John advice, you'll see in Dance of Dragons, John's like, "Sorry, Bowen, we're doing the opposite."
And
like,
Bowen's the
like,
cook?
"I respect your advice."
Is Bowen the cook?
He's the Lord Steward, so he's like pretty much in charge of like managing everything, food supplies. That's why he tells the guys to go get gloves with Bowen, because he's the one in charge of the.
He's got the inventory.
Yeah, he's in charge of everything basically. Yeah, so I think that was one of the main points, obviously, right? Is the John dying thing.
The other one is the Raven. Something I'm a believer that it's weird, because obviously the Raven was doing it when Mormont was still alive, but I kind of want to say that Mormont worked into the Raven.
You mean like Second Life? Mormont is somehow like living a second life in the Raven? I could almost see that, and like somehow Mormont, you know how like John for a while there was like working into Ghost and just thought like, "Oh, he's my pet, so obviously I have dreams about."
I have a great connection with him.
He doesn't think it's like real until the wildling's like, "Dude, you're a fucking warg, wake up." I could see Mormont having like a way scaled down version of that, but still something to the point where he never knew it was anything real, and then he warged into him.
Yeah,
I think most people think Mormont's Raven is Blood Raven.
Sure, like if it is Blood Raven, fine, but it would be kind of cool if it was Mormont, though.
Yeah, I think the thing is, if it's Mormont, like what's he doing here? He's just trying to wake up John to be a dick.
Just help. No. I mean, he's helped him. Well, maybe.
One of the things that I think is crazy is that it starts off as the moon. The moon is yelling snow, and I'm like, what is that? And then when you find out it's the Raven, I'm like, okay, well.
Well, then it kind of gives Glass Candle vibes, right? Like,
yeah, like the moon. Yeah, I don't know.
Isn't moonlight a glass candles thing?
Yeah, and I'm sure I've heard that from like it's probably a precedent theory, is that like that somehow like the moonlight is like a satellite, and you can like if you're over here with a glass candle and you don't have a direct line of sight because the Earth's a globe, then you can bounce your messages off the moon. So, and this kind of alludes to that, but I don't know.
Yeah. It's
interesting. I like the moon in real life. I'm a space guy, so I like the moon. So I would like if the moon is something cool in this, but I'm not leaning too hard. I don't want to.
I don't like just giving Bloodraven too much credit. Like Bloodraven can't be that strong. Like he's obviously strong. He's obviously very strong. But like, come on.
It's gonna be somewhat out of place, but I think there's enough recency that'll be relevant. We haven't talked about it really in any of the Duncan. So right now, this is gonna come out like 2 months after The Night of the Seven Kingdoms ends the show. But Jeff, while we're recording it, episode 3 just aired. One thing I think they've done a great job of so far is hinting at the Blackfire stuff, right? It's been mentioned in episode 2 and 3. They hinted at the red grass field. Dunk was saying Egg was saying die, you Blackfires. And then in episode 3,
I think even the first episode there was a Blackfire mentioned.
Maybe. I think
Dunk was singing another song, or Egg was singing another song or something.
Maybe. I know in 2, Dunk tells somebody that Arlen fought with them on the red grass, which is a Blackfire thing. That's all they say is red grass at that point. And then at the end, it cuts to Egg fighting. He's like, die, you Blackfire bastards. And then in episode 3, Egg sings the funny nursery rhyme about the Blackfires. I think like the way they're like...
Maybe that's it then.
I think the amount that they're touching on it is perfect. Because people who don't know, it doesn't mean anything to them. But people even people who don't know, once season 2 and 3 comes out, if they go back and watch this season, I think they'll understand some of that stuff, and it'll be like, oh, what a cool... So I think they're laying the scenes for rewatchability.
I'll say the one, because I just saw the clip of it today, again, was the song that Egg sings in the beginning of episode 3. He does mention Baelor, Maekar, and then Daemon was the bastard.
Yeah.
But they kicked his...
Bastard, grass is always green until the red grass happens or something.
If you could pick up that Baelor and Maekar where are people now, you can kind of know that it was a recent thing.
Yeah, if you go back and listen to the lyrics, you can learn a little bit. I just don't think most people will, but I think on a rewatch, people will be like, oh shit, that makes he's actually telling real shit right there, right? So that's cool.
Yeah.
But I guess the whole point to lead into that was we were talking about Bloodraven. Do you think Bloodraven's going to be in A Night of the Seven Kingdoms? And remember, they put Bloodraven in House of the Dragon. Do you remember that? When Daemon had one of his, like at the end, he has like a weirwood vision where he sees a lot of shit. He even sees like one of the antlered men, and he sees a flash of the guy with the Bloodraven.
Yeah. I don't, if anything, I think we talked about it too, is he's going to be he might be at the funeral. Like he might just be there. We might get to see him for the first time.
I kind of want nothing. But again, it's one of the things where they could make we should probably hear about him. Like
if there's a chance that he's just in attendance and no mention of him, like no one's even like, wow, that's Brendan Rivers. That's Bloodraven. Like if you don't know, it's just a guy with one eye and he just happened to be there.
Let's get back to John. Sorry, I'm getting too keyed up about Duncan Egg. You know how I do.
You did warn people.
What?
To tune into the spoiler section. It would be a fun one with you.
Yeah, you made me do the 3 beer chug. We didn't tell anybody. I did do the 3 beer chug in between, so apologize. And I'm still drinking my whiskey. Need some more.
Oh gosh. Let's get back into a spoiler. Again, I just don't. I thought the Raven, like him thinking that the Raven is too smart, as we just had the prologue Warg thing. It'd be cool if it's Mormont a little bit, or maybe it's even a Lord Commander. But we know that it wouldn't last forever, right? The Second Life isn't a long-lived deal. So maybe if we just get a little bit of time of Mormont being in like the Raven, I think it would be cool. But
yeah, it's one of the things where I agree with you. It would be cool. I just don't know how we would ever get confirmation.
Again, it doesn't even have to be confirmed for me.
Oh, you know what would be cool? What if in a Bran chapter, like in Winds of Winter, Bran tries to work into there, and like you know how Varamir was like, I could tell Morrell was in the Raven. If like Bran can tell that Mormont's in there, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Again, I don't even need confirmation with it. It's just something that maybe I'm believing right now. And until someone tells me that Mormont wasn't a warg, I don't care.
So let me rattle through some of my just like smaller points and see if you have any points, stop me. Stannis tells Mel to go with John, and then he calls from food from Devon.
Devon is what's Davos' son?
Davos' son. Yep, that's all I had. Cool, kind of cool that Davos' son still around. Also, they do mention Davos But kind of in passing, John says...
Yeah, John was like, well, your smuggler is your hand.
Yeah, which implies he's still alive at this point.
Yeah.
I guess Kyle knew that by now, because in the Cersei chapters, we heard that like he had at least gone to White Harbor, right? But in the last John chapter, Davos wasn't with Stannis at Castle Black. So, and we had heard that Stannis burned somebody to get good winds to come north. So there was kind of the thought that he could have killed Davos, but no, that's not happening.
No.
Now we know. And again, we'll get Davos chapters in this book, which is kind of cool. Oh, there was a dawn mention. Castle Black's in like a dark and forlorn place in the pale dawn light.
There we go.
What if Dawn, Lightbringer, casts its own light? At one point, John's walking through Castle Black at nighttime, so it's completely dark out. And John thinks Castle Black seems a bleak and forlorn place in the pale dawn light, but he's talking about his sword light, not the dawn light. I think that one makes sense. We can see it.
Okay.
All right. Mage's daughters.
Yeah.
Lyanna's the youngest. Daisy's dead. There's 3 others. Alysanne and Lyra and Jor-El.
Jorah sold them all to slavery.
No. We don't ever actually see Lyra or Jor-El, but I think Alysanne actually becomes like kind of a decent character in this book. She is part of the Deepwood. So what happens is Stannis leaves Castle Black and he goes and helps kind of save Deepwood Mott from the Ironborn. On the way, I think this is partly on John's advice. He's like, hey, you're not winning into the Northern Lords, but if you take a path through the mountains, you might get a few Mountain Clan stragglers, save Deepwood Mott, you'll get them on your side, and then go from there. I think that's kind of what he does. Asha's at Deepwood Mott. This is kind of where we see what's going on here, because that's where she ran away back to after the Kingsmoot. Stannis attacks, kind of captures Asha, and that's where we kind of see Alysanne Mormont. Is she, when we get those Asha chapters while she's captured by Stannis, Alysanne, she had kind of left Bear Island to go try and help Deepwood. And at one point, Asha asks, somehow it comes up in conversation where her other sisters are, and Alysanne tells Asha that Lyra and Jor-El are both with Mage, which again is really interesting because we don't know where Mage is. The last we heard was like, I think she was
down
sent
in the
off
swamp, down in the neck.
Exactly, down in the neck somewhere. I think she might have been sent off with Ned's bones. But the fact that Alysanne even knows that Lyra and Jor-El are with her means she must know where Mage, got to Hallan Reed,
Maybe she's
sent
just
a letter.
that they got to him. Yeah.
But what? Like, she got to Hallan, sent a letter and said, send my youngest daughters to me? Like, they might be like 20, like 16. They might be like fighting age, right? Because the Mormonts are fighters. So,
yeah.
But it's so weird. Especially if you're by taking these 2 daughters, you're leaving, well, I guess Mage thought she was also leaving Alysanne back home, not just Lyanna, but Alysanne ended up going on a short mission to Deepwood Mott.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I don't have a good reason why they would be there or how they got there or how she would know.
I think the big question is like, what's Mage
what's
up to
going on at the neck?
If that's what they are, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we know the Reed's got to do. Hallan's got to be doing something.
Yeah, Hallan's mixing it up. I think George has even admitted that the reason we haven't seen Hallan is because it's impossible without spoiling something big.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my last point here is, again, it's cool that Aemon's alive. He was dead. Now he's back alive. He's my boy. We don't see him in person yet, but I think we will in the next chapter. Next John chapter, John kills.
Kill the boy, John. Kill the boy.
I think we'll get that, and we'll get John kills Janos.
Janos?
Yeah. The man. The frog boy.
What a great. That's like probably top 5 scene in the show.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy because there's a lot of great, but like I could watch that scene a lot. He just stays in there to drink one last gulp of his drink before he leaves.
Yeah. And then Janos just starts being a little bitch, and the thing that in the books makes me love it even more, and it's like the littlest like little salt-based sprinkle of foreshadowing is I think it's in Clash of Kings, early Clash of Kings, Sansa 1 maybe Clash of Kings. She's like she's at like King's Landing in the throne room, and Janos is getting rewarded for something, and she's like, I hope one day, because she's thinking about he's responsible for Ned being beheaded. She's like, I hope one day some hero beheads Janos Slynt. I forget what the quote is, but it's just like
The person she hates the most.
George knew that John was gonna kill Janos Slynt way back in Clash of Kings 1. So yeah, so that's the next chapter. What I have here is Aemon. What he tells John here is that, hey, there is power in King's blood, and better men than Stannis have done worse things than this. I like where Kyle went. His head went to Dunk.
Mm-hmm.
My head goes to the other side of that, the other half of that coin.
Eggy.
Egg. Right? He's the Targaryen. He's the one that is likely to go mad, right? What's the fortune teller in Night of Seven Kingdoms say, right? Is you're going to die in fire, which we knew, right? Summerhall, but then everyone's going to hate you for it, which is kind of Mad King-esque. Like, you're going to start going crazy beforehand.
I thought the fortune teller said everybody would rejoice at your death.
Yeah, they'd be happy that you're dead.
Yeah. You just said that they would be mad.
I meant like they would hate you. They hate you in general.
They hate you, so they're happy that you died.
Yes. So, like, how do we get from Egg, who we all love, to somebody that we hate?
Mad King 1.
Yeah. So, again, I don't like that they put the fortune teller in there. I think it's... First off, I
thought it was... Why are you getting back onto...
Because I think it's relevant to this. Because I think my first thought, even before... When I read this... Maybe not the first time, but when I read this a time before I had seen A Night of Seven Kingdoms, I think Aemon's talking about Egg here. Because we know Summerhall ends in a tragedy. He ends up killing a lot of people.
I mean, even I do get it that it was his brother, so that he was closer to him. But I mean, Aerys is his nephew. It's like it's all the Targaryens are.
Yeah, Aemon's lived a long life. There's a lot of people that he knows that probably he thinks are better men than Stannis. And Stannis, for the most part, follows the law. So unless the law is telling him to do something horrible, and the burning babies is different, but.
I'm just saying another one. He could probably be going like, yeah, well, your father Ned, who was a great guy, still cheated on your mom, which we'd probably know isn't true. But like, I don't know if Aemon knows that that's not true.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Because if he did, and Jon was actually Aegon, he would be fucking pumped. Like Aemon wouldn't have to go race off to Dany, which so obviously he doesn't know. But
yeah. And last point here is Mance.
Yeah.
What happens with Mance in the rest of this book? Does Stannis burn him?
He goes to Winterfell.
So Stannis doesn't burn him.
No, he glamours. They glamour Rattleshirt. Now, does Stannis know about this?
This is a debate. We don't know. I
was gonna. They glamour Rattleshirt to look like Mance, and Mance dresses as
Rattleshirt as Mance. Yeah.
And
then send Mance to Winterfell. Yep, you're right. In your question, does Stannis know? This is a debate. I don't think we know one way or the other. I've heard people argue that this chapter has hints that Stannis does know, in the fact that he says, I talked with Mance for hours, and he knows a lot about the foe, and he's cunning. People think the fact that Stannis says he's cunning might hint to the fact that he knows that he would be up for something like this. I think it kind of hints to the opposite. When Melisandre's talking to Jon, where we started the quote that I had us read today, it says, it may be that you are not wrong about the Wildling King. I shall pray for the Lord of Light to send me guidance. When I gaze into the flames, and she talks about all she can see. But she basically says, like, I'll ask for him to send me visions about Mance.
What I should do.
So it makes me think that Jon sparked the idea in Mel's mind about Mance. I also don't think Stannis would be okay with something like that.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, I'll just keep this other king here. Also, I don't know if it's a little bit weird of why Mance is just like, yeah, okay, I'll start doing your bidding, Mel. Like, sure.
Well, if it's that or fire.
Sure, I do get you there, but like he could go anywhere.
What do you mean? Not really. You could go to the fire or do whatever Mel says.
Doesn't have to go to Winterfell.
Well, okay. Once she's out of Castle Black, yeah, he can go wherever he wants. It's a good point.
Yeah, I think he's working for Mel. I think he was scared. I think he is truly afraid of the others. So if Mel gives him a chance to live, stay away from being burned, but also like, hey, this is your real mission so that we beat the true enemy.
I guess that's what my thought is Mance seems like he cares about the wildlings. Like, he's not a kind of guy that's like, oh, I can save my own skin, I'll go do that real quick. So that's why he's not just riding away. So somehow he thinks that whatever the mission in Winterfell is will help the wildlings. Because I don't think he gives half a fuck about...
Get the wildlings south of the wall.
Yeah, I don't think he gives half a fuck about Stannis' people or even really the Night's Watch. I think it's mostly the wildlings that he cares about. So it's a good point I never thought about. Mance somehow must see some benefit from the wildlings' general population from whatever he's doing.
Yeah, to help out the Stannis.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, definitely a long episode for us. Good spot to call it.
All right.
See you guys in the next one for Brand 1. Bye-bye.